Hello everybody. So the motorcycle season here in Slovenia is actually completely over right now. We just got a very big snowfall, and I wanted to talk about a little bit of a different topic, not that associated with motorcycles, but still associated with, with riding motorcycles, and that is actually one of the dangers that riding a motorcycle brings. Now, it's not crashing motorcycles and it's not losing your driver's license because you've been speeding, although those are the real dangers that we face. But I want to talk about hearing loss that comes from riding motorcycles. And I noticed that a lot of people, a lot of motorcycle riders that I met this year don't take this topic seriously. They just put on their helmet without any hearing protection whatsoever, without any earplugs, and they go for a ride for hours. And I don't think that is such a good idea. Also, one of the reasons why I decided to talk about this is because I have experienced hearing loss myself. It wasn't from motorcycles, but it was like years ago when I was going to a lot of concerts, to a lot of clubs, and at the time I was also working as a sound engineer, so I was exposed to loud sounds in the studio, and that sort of made me lose some of my hearing. Now the loss isn't drastic, it's just I hear certain high frequencies a little bit more quiet, and or in the day-to-day life I don't even notice it. But this is because I was able to see what's going on early on and prevent it by start using hearing protection. It is not a coincidence that you see like MotoGP riders or superbike riders or Formula One drivers. You see them using earplugs, or any sort of hearing protection all the time, because they know they are being exposed to excessive amounts of sound, excessive amounts of loudness, and even short amounts of exposure, right? Even very short exposure at that high decibel levels can cause a significant amount of damage, even if you don't feel it right away. And most of the time, for us who ride motorcycles, this accumulates every single day. So we ride for 1 hour, 2 hours every single day, and our ears get tired. They don't really get the chance to recover overnight properly, and then tomorrow we go on a ride again and again and again. And over months, over years, this slowly accumulates into real hearing damage, and those little hearing cells in our ears start to literally die off. And one of the first symptoms of this is just ringing in your ears, right? And when you get ringing in your ears, your hearing is literally saying to you which frequencies of your hearing are dying. So the frequencies that you hear once you get the ringing are the frequencies that are literally dying, right? So some of you are maybe even experiencing this ringing already, and I know it's not a very pleasant thing to experience, but let me just tell you, if you didn't start to take care of your hearing yet and start to use earplugs, this is just the beginning, and it will get actually worse over time. Now, if you detect this ringing or the hear loss at an early stage, you can start to protect yourself early, and the hearing most of the time should get better, much better. But if you don't have this yet, and there is very good news, you can prevent all of this from happening. Like, seriously, you should start riding every single time you go for a ride, even if it's just 10-15 minutes. You should pop in some earplugs, and you don't need some crazy expensive custom-made earplugs like they use in MotoGP or in Formula One. You can just use normal silicone-based earplugs. You can get them in any sort of store. You can get them on Amazon or at your pharmacy for a couple of euros, couple of dollars, whatever, and they will do just fine. Personally, I use those silicone earplugs that are made for concerts, for loud events, and they mostly just reduce the overall volume of the surrounding noise by 10-20 dB, whatever, and they also reduce the most annoying frequencies to us, which are the high frequencies, and those are the really harsh frequencies that really damage our hearing the most. And what most riders are not even aware is that when you are riding really fast, your exhaust is not even that loud compared to the wind hitting your helmet, and you get so much wind noise, especially if you have like a naked bike like I do, and you're doing 180 kilometers per hour or 200 kilometers per hour on the highway. The wind noise is so loud you don't even hear yourself think in your head. It is so overwhelming. And if you don't have earplugs in at that time, your ears are just going through torture. And I'm talking about decibel levels that are anywhere between 110 to 120 decibels. So this is as loud as a heavy metal concert these days. And if you have been on one of those, you know how destroyed your ears are the next day. So really, please consider using earplugs if you are not using them yet while riding a motorcycle. Like, I know at the beginning it will take some getting used to, and a lot of people, I think, don't use them because they don't hear their motorcycle as well, they don't hear the surroundings as well, and they think their experience will somehow be diminished, that it's not going to be as fun riding with motorcycles. But the truth is that you just need a couple of days or even just a couple of hours to get used to riding with earplugs, and then it will become the new normal. You will get used to them, and honestly, once you get used to riding with earplugs, it's going to be really annoying to ride without them, because everything will be overwhelmingly loud once you are used to the nice and calm feeling that you get from the earplugs. And also another thing to point out is that riding with earplugs will give you such a better experience, such a safer experience of riding a motorcycle, because sound, just like light, is an input that stresses your brain, right? So if you are going to stare at the sun for too long, right, your eyes will get hurt. And with doing that, you will put a lot of stress on the brain. You won't be able to think as clearly because you will get this sort of, everything will feel really blurry, everything will feel sort of out of focus. It will literally, you know, any sort of input, whether light or sound, will put stress on your brain. So when it comes to sound, just like imagine taking a walk through a very loud city like New York, for example, and then you take a walk through the forest, which is completely silent, right? So which walk do you think is more relaxing? I'm pretty sure most of us would feel much more relaxed taking a walk through a nice forest road, right? And most of us taking a walk through the streets of Manhattan would feel overwhelmed, stressed just by, you know, being on that street. It wouldn't feel that good, right? And the same thing is when you are riding your motorcycle and there is a lot of noise surrounding you. You don't know it. I mean, you don't really notice it immediately, but it all puts stress on your brain and steals your focus. So if you take care of your hearing and you diminish the decibel levels, right, and reduce the noise levels, you are actually going to be, you'll be able to focus more attention on the road, right? You will actually be a much better motorcycle rider if you don't have so much stress put on your ears. You will be more calmer, and you will be really relaxed when you will be taking that ride with earplugs. It will be a day and night difference. And I remember those first couple of rides when I got the motorcycle. I was riding without the earplugs for an hour, hour and a half, and later I put earplugs in because I already have some history of hearing damage, and I just noticed how much more relaxing it is after a ride and during a ride as well when I am using earplugs. It's really like a day and night day and night difference. If I'm riding without earplugs, I get really tired in general. I get sort of moody much faster after a ride. And if I use earplugs, I'm always sort of fresh. I don't get tired as fast on the ride because I just don't have so much input and stress on the brain. And sound is exactly that. It's just stress on the brain. So not only are you saving your hearing and protecting your hearing, you are also making sure that you can be more focused on the road and what's going on around you, right? So like I said, guys, this is a topic that's very important to me. I use earplugs on every single ride. Doesn't matter if it's 15 minutes or 15 hours, I don't care. I'm always going to be riding with my earplugs. Even sometimes I forget to pop them in and I go for a ride, and after 2 minutes of riding I realize, oh, everything is so loud, I forgot my earplugs. I turn around, literally turn around, go back home and take them. So I really don't want anybody to experience hearing loss because of motorcycles. So yeah, really consider buying a pair of earplugs. I suggest any sort of silicone based earplugs that really fit into your ear properly, so they just don't fall out immediately after you put them in. They really make sure they're really tight in your ears. Make sure that they stay in there, and your ears will be very grateful, especially years down the road. You will really appreciate of still being to hear everything properly. I also don't really want to be that guy who's telling you what to do and how you should take care of yourself, but I think this is very important. I guess you all want to be able to hear stuff when you get older, so don't take your hearing for granted. Get those earplugs and enjoy riding much more. I think that's pretty much it, what I have to tell you. So yeah, guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to my little rant about motorcycles and how you can prevent getting hearing loss from it. And yeah, thank you so much, and see you again in another video.